What is going on? We haven't smoked a stogie on a live show in a minute. In a while. Lighten up. Because it's the last show of the week until Saturday. So kind of celebration. Can kind of take the day off tomorrow. I say take the day off tomorrow. I won't be doing that. But little chance to relax. On Saturday, don't forget we're gonna do another collab. I don't know how many we've done now, but with Don't Read the Comments podcast with Tim Neal and Travis Ford. So looking forward to that. That'll be on Saturday. Tomorrow night we gotta set some stuff up. We're gonna be kind of rushing it on Saturday. It's gonna be kind of like it's gonna be fun. You guys are gonna have a blast. We're gonna do we're going to do a stream companion, so we're going to be watching the game live. Yeah, we're going to be watching the game live. Of course, we can't show the game on the screen. That's copyright and all that wonderful stuff, but it's we're going to react to the game together. It's going to be a lot of fun. I feel like we've done the A&M game. I know we did the A&M game last year. I'm almost positive we did. So, looking forward to it, man. I always have a blast when I'm with those guys. We're hanging out. They're going to try and get me to drink a little bit, and I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't know. I don't have much going on Saturday night. So make sure you watch out for that. Yeah? It'll be fun. And, of course, we'll do the post-game shows as well. I actually put it on the screen, but you could see right there. Oh, gosh, that's trippy. Right there. Join Patreon, baby. Join Patreon if you guys haven't already. We just added another legendary status member yesterday, Alex. Shout out to him. He is Arkansas Takes in our Discord. He also just joined Discord too. All right, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. This is not a loaded show. We're going to look at the SEC schedule. We're going to talk about Hugh Freeze. Oh, man. I'll tell you what. What a character that guy is. $2 super chat. Taylor Green is going to put his foot up there, A&M. There you go. Appreciate the super chat, man. So does that mean, okay, so that's your third ever super chat? That's pretty cool that it keeps track of that. I wish I could pull it up on the screen, something like that to kind of like celebrate all the super chats. But, hey, I appreciate it. All right, again, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Let's read some comments here really quick. Yo! Skills 404 says, I caught 2 lives in 1 week. That's awesome, man. Appreciate you being here. I'm told I'm not allowed to complain about about how the YouTube algorithm just not my friend. They don't push my content, but it's true. It is true. So I do appreciate that. Hey, you made it. I'm assuming you got notifications, so that's great. Or you caught the tweets. Farrell Hogman, what's up? Tusk Talk with Ty Peeps. What's going on, man? Let's freaking go, Hogs. His heartbroken hog. Does that mean we get Tipsy Ty tonight? No, because I still got to get up early in the morning. I got stuff I got to, of course, drop the kids off at school. I got a couple things I need to get done. And then tomorrow night I got to run over to Travis's house, get some things straightened out for the stream on Saturday. But it means I don't have to do any show prep. I'm telling you, doing these Thursday night lives are the best things ever to do. So yeah, I'd watch, but I'm gonna be at AT&T. Oh, all right. Well, have fun, Kyle. $10 super chat. Oh, look at him. John uses the super chat to share the Patreon. That's worth XP in Discord, honestly. I don't know how else to reward that. John, that's worth XP in Discord, man. I didn't ask you to do that. I didn't say you would get a reward for doing it, but, man, you know what? Yeah, why not? That's pretty cool. You super chatted. I'm going to give you $15K, man. I'm going to treat that like a call-in XP. $15K to John Hawes. That's incredible, man. Appreciate that, Hawes. That is cool. Discord allows you to read my wonderful takes, says Megan. That's right. our daring takes, if you will. Join Patreon. That's right. If Green gets his passing game together, Arkansas can beat anyone, says Tyler Riley. I think it's more complicated than that, though, Tyler. There's a lot of things that Arkansas has to get straightened out before we go on the, all we got to do is get Green to figure it out, in the passing game, and we're going to beat anybody. I would caution. Hold on. Still got issues in the secondary. Still have some injuries, right? Hudson Clark and Braxton. Defensive line, the pass rush. I don't know, y'all. I mean, it's, offensive line, the snaps, the dropping of balls. There's a lot. It's not just a Green thing, right? It's not just on Taylor and Green. But I hear what you're saying. If Green tightens his game up a little bit, they're going to be able to go toe-to-toe with a lot of teams. Now, there's only right now, for me, there's Tennessee. I still kind of think the jury's out on whether or not how great they are. I think they may have beaten a team in Oklahoma that I don't know, man. Has Oklahoma really wowed anybody yet? I know we're only, 4 games into the season. Ole Miss really hasn't played anyone. But Jackson Dart, his PFF numbers are crazy. And I'm not talking about his ranking. I'm talking about the things that matter to me the most. The deeper analytics, the clean pocket percentages, the under pressure percentages, all that stuff. He is right now, and it is because he hasn't played anybody worth a damn defensively. I mean, he just hasn't. But I've watched them play a little bit, and they look even better versus some pretty bad talent a year ago. I can remember watching them, and I think they look better. They look sharper. And I'm going to hate to break it to some of you. I'm not going to rub your noses in it too much, but there were people who said Pooh Paul was not a good linebacker. Y'all, he looks like an All-American right now at Ole Miss. He leads them in tackles. He's got a bunch of hurries. He's got a shit ton of stops. I think he leads in PFF in stops for the SEC. 2 sacks. I think he's got 1 or 2 passes defended. Guys, I told you guys he was a loss. And I'm going to be real with you. I like Xavier Sori. I like some of the options that Arkansas has at linebacker. I don't think they have anyone that's as good as Christopher Pooh Paul. I just don't. I think right now Pooh Paul looks like one of the top 3 linebackers in this league so far. Now, we'll see once they start playing some real competition. But he's starting to put together a highlight reel. So, I mean, we can be mad at him all we want about leaving. Go look at their numbers. Look him up on PFF. He's one of the highest rated – last I looked, he's one of the highest rated linebackers in college football. I might need to take another look at that. I might be wrong, but I glanced at it. So, I've always disagreed with some of you who said Pooh Paul was overrated. I've just always disagreed with that. I'm not saying he's a first-round pick. Okay? I'm not saying that he's elite, but he's playing out of his mind right now. I want to see for everybody, right? We said let's see Oklahoma when they get into the SEC. Let's see when they play someone worth a damn, and they played Tennessee, and, look what happened, right? I mean, so the same thing could be said of Pooh Paul. The same thing could be said of Ole Miss as an organization right now. Let's get them through the grind of the SEC. Whereas Arkansas has actually already played a team that has more talent than they do in Auburn. Of course, Auburn, not a very good product right now. And they went on the road and damn near beat Oklahoma State. The game you want to talk about beating someone 9 times out of 10, that's your game. I think Arkansas. I will take on – I think there's more of a debate to be had about Arkansas winning the next 9 against Oklahoma State. And I don't think they'd win 9 out of 10 against Oklahoma State, but I think they'd win the majority of those games out of 10 times. But that's not how football rolls, right? This isn't baseball. You don't get to go revisit them. It's not basketball. You don't get a rematch at the end of the year or whatever. You get one chance and you lost it. They were the better team for a quarter and a half when it mattered, and they found a way to win. It was more about Arkansas finding a way to lose. But, yeah, that's when that statement that Hugh Freeze made, which we're about to cover, that's when there's probably some accuracy. Pitman probably could have said something like that, and not caught near as much flack because there's evidence behind it. You outgained Oklahoma State. You owned Oklahoma State for two little more than 2 quarters. It was so heavily tilted in your favor until you started tripping over your own shoelaces, right? Aggies going white, maroon. Teams are 0-2 against Arkansas this year with white lids. I did not know that. Look at John Haas with some random facts right there. I didn't know that. If our passing game as a whole gets cleaned up and quarterback and receiver play, that's when we'll be really dangerous. I've got a take on Auburn, too, you guys might appreciate. And the more I've watched that game over and over and looked into looking into some of the stuff, the numbers, talking with Stephen Hamner, who was on earlier today. You guys got to go back and watch that. Stephen Hamner crushed it, man. He's so good to bring on. I'm going to try and get Courtney back. I didn't reach out to her this week because she just moved into a new home, and I'm not going to bother her about, she's already having a rough time with Florida. Last thing she needs is some fat bearded dude. Hey, come get on my show, Courtney. No, she's cool. She knows what's up. But I might try and get her back out or get her back on next week. We'll see where she's at with everything. Hey, I appreciate you guys retweeting. Unbiased Brim, I see you, fam. I see you. Matt says, I want to see him against real teams personally, but Pooh was always solid. There was definitely something going on last year, but Pooh at his best was pretty fantastic at Arkansas. Like, really good. We didn't see it consistently enough. He's doing it. I mean, all you could do is play the opponents in front of you, and Pooh Paul's doing that. Damn, you working, Tom. Putting in that work, man. I'm putting in that work. But after this, it's feet up, watching some football. There's a crappy game on tonight. You got Temple and somebody. And then you got the Giants and the Cowboys. I'm sorry. You talk about a game I couldn't care. Who cares? Giants are garbage. Cowboys are better than the Giants. I don't know how much better. My Pooh is my – oh, my God. I got to – see, I started to read that, John. I started to read that. See, now I know John has super chatted more than – his number doesn't come up, how many times he's super chatted. See, it does for Boss Hog. It says 3. Let's celebrate their 3rd super on a live stream. But it doesn't do that for John Haas' super chat. I wonder why that is. I think you got to celebrate them all, YouTube. Temple and who cares, says Hoyt. That's right. Ty, Cowboys might get upset tonight. Might be entertaining, says Harper. Don't piss off the Cowboy fans. Don't piss them off. Kyle wrote, says Auburn is held back by their offense. Defense was actually good. Yeah, I think their defense, their game plan looked pretty familiar, right? It looked like what you saw against UAB a little bit. Cover 0, pin your ears back and go after Green. And it was Green's ability to run that got Arkansas out of all those jams, right? I mean, he killed it on 3rd and long, y'all. He killed it. You got bailed out, I think, on a couple of 3rd downs. You got a PI call, and I want to say a roughing the passer, or there was another one. There were 2 penalties on 3rd down that did bail them out. But overall, Green was, as usual, has been pretty solid. All right. I say solid. I mean on 3rd down. He's got a lot he needs to work on. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the matchups this weekend. I had it up here. Let me pull it back up. This weekend's actually kind of loaded. Virginia Tech and Miami could be interesting tomorrow night, but I fully expect Miami to just – y'all, Miami might be legit. The line right now is in favor of the Hurricanes at 17.5, and that's probably about right. I definitely would have put that at about 14 to 16 points. 17.5 might be a little high. Virginia Tech defensively at times has looked pretty good. Washington at Rutgers is a good one. That's a real good one. Right now it's only in favor of the Rutgers -2. Kentucky and Ole Miss. Okay, here's that game. And, of course, we're talking about around the SEC, so we'll start there. That's 11 o'clock. Ole Miss is not a tough place to play at. It's probably and this is talking to media people who've been to every damn stadium, including some Big 12 schools, all the SEC schools, and they'll tell you Ole Miss is not as threatening as they try to tell you. Tailgates are badass, but that's about it. Not saying that they're not going to be rowdy for their SEC opener tomorrow. Or I'm sorry, Saturday, 11 o'clock. Again, that's a hell of 11 a.m. kickoff. Nobody walks into Oxford scared to death at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Ole Miss is favored at 16. I don't know. Because, again, who in the hell has Ole Miss actually played that's worth a damn? They've not been tested, yet Kentucky has. And we've talked about how that could be both a pro and a con. It can be a pro that it shows you're a little bit battle-tested. You saw what they did to Georgia. Georgia's defense, great. Georgia's offense, question marks, right? Kentucky offense, no question marks. We just know they're bad. They're going to be a defensive team. They've got some players. They got some ballers on that defense. This could be interesting. I'm not prepared to say that Kentucky's going to hold this game within 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm not prepared to say that. But it is something I would keep an eye on, something I want to watch at 11 o'clock. And, in fact, thinking about it, we've got 3 predictions up right now in Tusk Talk Discord. I almost want to add like 3 more predictions, and this might be one of those 3. Very interesting game. It might give us a pretty good idea of just where Ole Miss is at offensively. This is going to be a good test for their offense. I would probably still lean in Ole Miss's favor. Guys, they're loaded. They've got depth. This is the advantage of hiring Lane Kiffin. What could have been? Whatever. That's still I'm not going to go in on that. But 16, right? They're favored at 16. I might be willing to say that this is going to be under, but you just don't know. Ole Miss might really be that good. They haven't really had a reason to open their playbook up entirely. I've listened to a couple of SEC podcasts and Ole Miss people. They don't believe they've opened up their offense or defense, that they want to put on a show. All this talk about Tennessee, all this talk about Texas, who just joined the conference. This might be their chance to open things up and show, like, hey, this is what we can do against a quality, maybe even top 3, top 5 defense in the SEC when they're playing at their best, talking about Kentucky. This is what we can do. That's a game I'm very curious about in the SEC. Let me change that. Here we go. Oklahoma at Auburn. Wouldn't it be great if Auburn tore Oklahoma up? Make you feel a little bit better, right? Mississippi State at Texas. My God, that's going to be a blowout. It's 37.5. By the way, Oklahoma's favored on the road at Auburn by 1. And then, of course, the game of the week. This is probably the game of the year. Typically, I don't know. This is another how good or how bad are they, when you're talking about maybe Alabama. I don't know. But Georgia is favored by 2. Alabama did play Wisconsin. I'll give them that, and they crushed Wisconsin. But when you look at Wisconsin, you don't know a damn thing about Wisconsin. They played Western Michigan and South Dakota, and then they got squashed by Alabama. And I don't think Wisconsin's projected to be worth a damn this year. So you can maybe make the argument here that we really don't know as much about Alabama as we think we do. But that is typically would be considered, that's the game of the year, Alabama and Georgia at Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's what I love about this. This is Georgia on the road against a high-quality, maybe even S-tier Alabama team. We don't know. That's the game right there. Number 2 versus number 4. The winner likely gets put into first place. I would, of course, if Georgia beats Alabama on the road, yeah, they're going to be in first place. No matter if they win that thing in overtime, doesn't matter. If they win, if it's an ugly-ass win, doesn't matter. They're going to get put up to first place because Alabama and their top 5 rank. Alabama could probably get boosted to number 1 if they win, I would imagine. SEC on SEC crime right here, right? That's what you're looking at. LSU plays South Alabama. That ought to be a blowout. Right now they're favored at 20.5. And again, just to be clear, Georgia is favored by 2 points. Texas favored over Mississippi State, 37.5 points. So, and A&M right now is favored over Arkansas at this 2:30 kickoff on Saturday on ESPN, 5.5 points. So make sure you take the poll. Do me a favor. After you like the stream, share, and maybe fire away a comment or something. 93% of you say Hogs. 93% of you have Arkansas. Auburn run for 260 yards on OU would be great. Ty, if Oklahoma beats Auburn, would Auburn beat them 9 out of 9 times if they play? Oh, poor Hugh Freeze. God. Hogs O-line must play better. Texas A&M D-line is their strength. So, I can't wait. We're going to get into that in a minute. We'll get into that in a minute. Scrolling up. For you guys, let me get right and try Discord again. Much love. Yeah, you need to get in there. It's a lot of fun. If you join, you get 25,000 XP. Just FYI, you get a bunch of XP. Megan says, "Oh, that's nice of you, Bram. I only use Discord for Ty." Oh, that's so sweet. Huey, better hope we are not actually good, because if we are, he's a running joke the whole season. Oh man, it doesn't get easier for Arkansas though, right? Like you play Auburn and it's like, damn, you're right into A&M, who's better, and then who do you have after that, right? I mean, it's it's a gauntlet. This is what we talked about. Like, you had to get started off on the right foot. You had to avoid some things, and they didn't, which was you needed to win against Oklahoma State to provide a little bit of cushion. And you felt like that would take off a load of pressure. Have y'all paid attention to Pitman's mannerisms when he's talking to the media? He just looks defeated. He looks exhausted. And I miss Pitman first 2 years. Always a big smile on his face. Like he knew what he had. Now, because of all the pressure, and listen, I'm with you guys. He did it to himself. Like, at the end of the day, this is your job, right? I fully get that, and I agree with it. I want him to get back to that. And I think had Arkansas found a way to get past Oklahoma State, not trip over their own feet, done what you needed to do against UAB, which is really win the game, but also look good doing it, which they did not do. Play a little bit better against Auburn, but you still won by 10 points. Why are people complaining? I'd like to see that smile come back for Sam. I really would. It just feels, kids today always talk about the vibe. Man, they're feeling it when their coaches got less to worry about, less things on his shoulders. Takes the stress off everybody. Makes you feel a little bit more confident, a little bit better about what's happening. I think A&M could be that. It could do that for him. See him smile again, man. I want to see people smile, having a good time. It's just football. It's entertainment. We're supposed to be enjoying it. It can be hard to enjoy sometimes. It can. As a fan, as a player, as a coach, it can be hard to enjoy. As someone who covers them, watches them, analyzes them, rewatches them, goes back over more numbers. By the way, don't forget, Enemy Insider is up. It's been completed since yesterday. I added I couldn't figure out what the hell. I didn't know what to call that bottom piece where I do this pretty big write-up. I'm just calling it the write-up. But we break down the Aggie offense, the defense, just kind of a final takeaway. And, of course, you're going to get my verdict tonight, here in a little bit. Here in just a little bit. Again, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Please, please, please. Oh, don't John L. Smith me. Smile. But see, this is different. This is me asking. Like, I want to see Sam smile again, man. I want to see him. Watching all of his post game and talking to the media over the years, you could just see the guy. You could tell he's worrying about it. He may act like he's not, but I think we all know that he is. We know he's thinking about it. We know it's on him. He wants that monkey off his back, and winning is the cure-all, right? Ty, is it weird I'm watching you wash while I shower? Dude, I do the same thing, though. My wife bought me one of these I don't know what it is. It's you put your phone. See, I'm stupid. I don't have a case on my phone. You know, it's just straight up like that. That's my case, or that's my phone. I don't have a case. So I have my Bluetooth speaker in there, and she bought me a little thing that I drop my phone down in, and it protects it from the water. I do the same thing. That's hilarious. Clean behind your ears, bro. Clean behind your ears. It gets stanky back there. Oh, man. Don't be creepy, bro. You should have kept that internally. Oh, man. That's too funny. All right. Shout out to the sponsors. Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Offering same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, better than best results. Free estimates, by the way. Hey, listen, that's a pretty good deal. They'll come out and look at your door. You get to meet a superstar. You get to meet a celebrity. That's what someone told Travis Ford. You might get a chance to meet the guy, get his autograph. Hey, man, you sponsor Tusk Talk, and you do awesome work. Free estimates. He does good work. Him and his boys, they do good work. Give him a call, 501-244-3667. They operate out of Central Arkansas and Northwest Arkansas. Insurance Max. They offer business, personal, life, and health insurance, retirement. They shop the best rates for you, covering all four corners of the state of Arkansas. Click the link down below and see what Insurance Max can do for you. Loving you easy 'cause you're beautiful. Sam might look tired, but the players always look tight, and that's fair. Sure, absolutely. I don't disagree with that, but I still think he's. I don't know him talking to the media, and I get it, man. The coaches actually, I think most of them just hate doing it. Arkansas Festus says Travis Ford. He's the man. He does all the good Lord the graphic work that guy does. Travis Ford equals good guy. He is. He is a good guy. He's a really good guy. Travis is he's a part of that. He's a part of my inner circle for sure. He's just a good guy. Period. He's responsible for the thumbnails, not this crappy one. Don't put that on him. This one that I did today was mine. That one with QB Spotlight earlier today, that was Travis Ford. The stuff that you're going to see on Saturday, that's all Travis Ford. Everything you see. That dude, it's just sick. Let's pull up this Hugh Freeze nonsense.
And those are the truths of the game. And, yeah, and it's the truth for me, too. I'm not – because – we've got to get them to where the winning ways are happening on those critical downs. I mean, no offense whatsoever to Arkansas or to Cal. I love Sam Pitman. I hope he wins the rest of his games. But I'm telling you, the hard truth is we play them 9 more times, we beat them 9 times. And that's what's hard to take. And it's hard for our fans, I'm sure, and it's certainly hard for us. And you have 460-something yards, and we only had 50-something plays of offense because we turned it over 5 times. And it's just it's frustrating.
I swear to God, it always does that when I flip back over to the scene. What a load of rubbish. What a load of rubbish, man. Yeah, so a proper example of winning 9 times out of whatever, the next 9 times, would be Arkansas and Oklahoma State. And I wouldn't even take and we've already talked about this, but I wouldn't take Arkansas to win 9 out of 10. I think most of us here would agree that Arkansas wins the majority if they played 9 times. You could see it. Arkansas actually dominated Oklahoma State until they didn't. And Oklahoma State capitalized off Arkansas mistakes. Yes, Auburn fumbled the ball on that run. Yeah, they made some mistakes. They had some key penalties and key moments. It's not like Arkansas didn't have their share of their own. Not as many drops this time, but it's not as if they didn't have their own mistakes. They played, I would say, this was their worst game that they played. Even worse than how they looked against UAB. And they still found a way to win that game by 10 points. No. You would not win the next 9, Hugh Freeze. This is kind of old news. I think this was shared on Monday, and it's Thursday. This isn't anything new. But I wanted to cover it because I wanted to talk about it. And I thought about bringing it up earlier when we had Stephen Hamner on. But I thought, no, we don't have a ton of things to discuss tonight. But I also think this would be the time to talk about it, And that's just stupid. Like his own people are like, no, hold on. Here's the other thing about this. Is that not an indictment of your own coaching deficiencies? Well, we would have won the next 9, but we lost this one. Okay. What he did at Liberty was great. Once upon a time ago, I thought he was a decent coach. Who knows, assuming he doesn't completely lose the locker room, because he loves throwing his quarterbacks and his players under the bus. And the ass end of Auburn football doesn't blow out this season and he survives to coach another year, maybe he can get it fixed in the offseason starting at quarterback and maybe actually start taking some more responsibility. But seems like all he wants to do lately is blame everyone but himself. Hugh Freeze so far at Auburn sucks. There is zero evidence from that game between Arkansas and Auburn that the Tigers would even win a single one of those next 9 games that he's playing out in his head. There's no evidence to suggest that, Hugh Freeze. The better team, who also played their worst game of the season, still beat you by double digits. You're an arrogant – I could go on. I really – what a stupid-ass thing to say. It would make sense if Auburn had dominated that game and maybe a penalty at the end, and that's how Arkansas won, a last-second field goal. Oh, boy, that's hard to imagine. But maybe then you could be like, well, all right, yeah. But you got to have evidence. You have to have evidence to suggest something so stupid, and you have none. Yeah, the only thing you could put, the only feather in your cap is that you outgained Arkansas by whatever, 100 yards. When did you lead in this game? When at any point did it feel like, oh, Auburn's going to win this football game? Now, they certainly made it a ball game, and Arkansas, again, kind of tripped over their own feet a little bit, throwing some picks and whatnot. They also were flagged, but not that much. I think it was actually their least penalized game, maybe behind the UAPB game. I could be wrong. But Arkansas played ugly. And again, I would say this was their ugliest game. UAB's their second ugliest game. Oklahoma State, it was good for 2 quarters, really good for 2 quarters, and then it wasn't. But from start to finish, Arkansas, it was ugly against Auburn, and they still found a way to beat you by 10 points. So it's a dumbass thing to say when you don't have much ground to stand on. Again, had Sam said that after the Oklahoma State loss, there's I think even Oklahoma State fans would probably agree, maybe not 9, maybe wouldn't win the next 9, but would certainly win enough more than them. I don't know if Oklahoma State fans would admit that, but I think deep down they probably would know it, right? They know that Arkansas, like they had to sneak out of their own stadium with a win. Talking about Oklahoma State. This was different with Auburn. And you saw how physical they tried to play you. They tried to size you up. You saw that hit on Armstrong. What a monster. Takes that hit, gets up, gets that dirt off his shoulder, and he comes back out. That's toughness. Arkansas was tougher. Arkansas was better. So no, Hugh Freeze, you would not have won. Again, I don't know that you would have won a single game, especially if Arkansas had bothered to bring their A game. I don't know how many teams left on this schedule if Arkansas played their A game for once, a complete game. I'm not sure outside. There's a couple teams I would chalk up as Probably for sure L's, but other than that, I don't know what to make of Mizzou right now. I don't think the jury's out on Ole Miss, but there's certainly we need to see them play some better competition. Again, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Will Hugh Freeze be the coach at Auburn next year? That's a really good question. Because if it turns out they are cheeks and like really, really bad, and I was not impressed with them, and a lot of that had to do with how bad Arkansas played, and they still, again, found a way to win that thing by 10 points. I don't know. It wouldn't shock me if they missed a bowl game and then, if they go 4-8 or something, yeah, I don't know. He is a really good dude, says the Woo Pig podcast. He created the Woo Pig logo. I didn't know that. He didn't tell me that. That's awesome, man. That's pretty sweet. Woo Pig Pod in the building. When is the last time we could say Arkansas is finding ways to win even when they play bad? That's very true. That's very true, Matt. You're not wrong. Huge is trying to. Oh, I think Hoyt meant to say Hugh is trying to bail water out of the boat right now. Let's talk A&M. I'm getting there, Hoyt. We're getting there, buddy. I'll take one for one time. They actually played and Arkansas took the dub. Yeah, and that's what Oklahoma State fans could say. Absolutely, and they'd be right. Yeah, we played once, you beat us. That's just all there is to it. That's all there is to it. You got to win, right? You only get 12 games a year against the same or against 12 different opponents. Tusk Talk with Ty Poll. Hogs or Aggies? 91% of you are taking the Hogs. Keep on rocking, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know that I agree, though. All right. Hoyt just wants to forget that. Let's get into A&M. Okay. We're going, I promise. A&M, yeah. Let's look at some of their numbers, right? Their scoring defense, they're averaging, just giving up about 18 points a game. Total defense, they're giving up just north of 315 yards. They're 51st in the country there. Rushing defense, almost 130 yards a game, which is 62nd in the country. Passing defense, actually not bad. If they hold on to this 189 per game by the end of the year, that number's going to come up. But they're at 52 right now. Passing efficiency, they're at 34th. Third down defense. This is where things get pretty interesting. They're a top 20 third down defense in the country. Their red zone is they're giving up scores about 80% of the time. Arkansas's red zone, I think, is about 90%. Arkansas's red zone defense is a little suspect, right? We talk about their secondary, and then we also got to talk about points in the red zone or percentages, right? The chance that you're going to score in Arkansas's red zone is pretty high. They have 5 sacks on the year. And they average just south of about 6 TFLs a game, which is, again, not horrible, but that's still about 79th in the country. As we move along through the year, that number is definitely going to change. If they can continue about 6 TFLs a game, they might bump up a little bit, not much. Arkansas on offense right now, they're the 20th highest scoring offense in the country, just south of 41 points. They're top 10 in total offense. 524 yards a game. That is, yeah. I mean, we expect that number to come down because, again, you just played Auburn, who's not a good team, but guess what? They're an SEC team. You struggled despite playing bad, and they outgained you. Their defense wasn't half bad. So this number will come down. You're not going to average 520 yards. You're not. That number's going to come down. You're going to drop, and you're probably going to drop quite a bit. And you're going to see these mediocre teams who play in shit conferences. You're going to see their numbers get, they're going to start to thrive, and they're going to have a meteoric rise. Meanwhile, you got to play in the SEC, right? That's just what sucks about it. That's why this is the best conference in college football. Who you're about to play and the talent that they have, right? Arkansas's rushing offense is top 20 in the country, 240 yards a game. That's 16th in the country. Passing offense is right inside the top 30, 284 yards. Passing efficiency, though, kind of not great. 129 a game, 90th in the country. Third down percentage, though, this is where this isn't David and Goliath. This is two Goliaths, I think. Well, okay, they're a top 20 defense, right, on third down. Arkansas is the number two third down offense in the country, converting at 61%. Guys, that's insane. When you consider they've played one ranked opponent, two P2 school, P3, I guess, or P4. No, Big 12 is like a Power 4. They're a Power 4. They're the fourth. I think they're the fourth overall conference. I think they're actually behind the ACC. I know someone's going to disagree with that. I don't care. That's just my opinion. I think Louisville, maybe Pitt, Miami would rock the Big 12. That's just my opinion. Miami will eventually fold. I know they probably will. They're going to lose a couple games, but I would still take them to beat. I'd still take them to sweep the Big 12. 61% on third down is absolutely crazy. I mean, that's nuts. That is another number that's going to drop. But for now, considering who you've played, that's pretty crazy. Red zone offense, though, and this is an area I really wanted. I wanted improvement, and they're just not. And it's because of the missed field goals. It's because of the turnovers. I feel like they have a couple turnovers in the red zone. That might be wrong, but 74%, which is 111th in the country. That's not good. That number needs to come up. Ty, most people are saying P4 now. Okay, whatever. Big 12 is. It's hard to no. I would say P3, but whatever. That's up for discussion, I guess. But everyone knows the SEC and the Big Ten are above the other two for sure. So let's look at who's out for this game. Let's talk about some injuries. Miguel Mitchell out. Patrick Kuda's out. I think he's just going to redshirt. Andreas Paskey, the tight end. I'm butchering that name. I know I am. He's out. Kafri Brown, he's out. Ty Washington, Jalen Braxton, Hudson Clark, Tyrell Reed are all questionable, and Monty Harris is probable. He is probable. A&M's not going to have Reuben Owens, Tyreek Chappelle, the defensive back, and Owens is the running back, by the way. And they're missing a couple of line of scrimmage guys. TJ, and I can't, the font on this is really bad. I think that's Shanahan, TJ Shanahan, offensive lineman. He's out. Connor Wigman is the big question mark, right? He's the big question mark. Who is going to start at quarterback for A&M? Now, let's get to the enemy insider. What did we have to say about Connor Wigman in this offense? Let's just get right into it. Again, if you're a Patreon supporter and you're in Discord, you've had access to this. I think I wrapped it up on the 20. I want to say yesterday, but I'll go ahead and give you a little piece here. Connor Wigman, before his injury last season, has been the opposite, or is the opposite of the Connor Wigman before his injury this season in 2024. He's been bad, like really bad, at least for his outing against Notre Dame, who does currently have a top 20 or is a top 20 in fewest passing yards allowed. His under pressure completion number right now is, and I want to make sure that's his overall and not his game by game. Let me pull this up, double check that. His under pressure number is 35%. Connor Wigman. And he's pressured a lot. He's pressured almost, according to this, he's playing with a clean pocket 59% of the time. He's under pressure almost 41% of the time. He's completed 5 out of 14 under pressure throws for a touchdown and an interception. So again, he's just at 35% completion under pressure. That's horrific. That is bad. His clean pocket number's not terrible at 60%. When he's blitzed, he's completing north of 50%, which is, depending on the result of those receptions, if they're going for big yardage, he's got 2 touchdowns when he's blitzed. He's got 2 scores. So far on the year, that's actually not bad. 52% completion when blitzed is a little, again, you'd love for that number to be up like 60%, 65. 52, all things considered, new offense and everything. It's hard to really get upset about that. With Weigman, and again, he played 2 games. They've only run play action with him 13% of the time, which is a little bit surprising considering A&M's run game is pretty damn good. 13% of his snaps have been play action, and he's 50%. He's 50%. Maybe that's why. Maybe they don't like him under play action. So his 2 picks were on no play action throws. And something else that kind of stood out with him is they only threw 1 screen play with Connor Weigman so far this year. With Reed, they're running more screens, and they're running more play action with Reed. He's at 23% out of play action, and he's run 4 total screens versus Weigman, who I think was 1, and he's 4 for 4 on the screens. His numbers are a little bit better. Marcel Reed is their runner. This guy, I think they both in their own way. Again, if you look at Weigman's situation at his best, we saw what he could do a year ago under Bobby Petrino. He doesn't have Bobby Petrino this year. But at his best, the guy can rip you apart. But so far this year, that's not been the case. I think I would rather see Weigman than Marcel Reed. Marcel Reed adds a different dynamic to their offense. He's thrown the ball deep, about 12 times, I think. 7, 8. Yeah, 12 times, which is quite a few when you consider how many times or how many snaps he has, or attempts, I guess, at 57 attempts. So his clean pocket percentage is pretty good, 66%. Again, we're talking about Marcel Reed. Under pressure is when his number drops, and this is bad. It's 23%. He's under pressure 29% of his snaps. 29% of his dropbacks, I should say. He's under pressure. Again, they run play action with him a little bit more, and they're running screens a little bit more with him. It's a different dynamic with Marcel Reed out on the field. I keep hearing that their run defense, or that their defensive line is great, yet they're giving up quite a bit of yardage. I mean, we just went over their rushing yards allowed, and again, it's not a great number. They're giving up 130 yards a game on the ground, which isn't atrocious, but it's like, again, at this point in the season, that's quite a bit. And that's 62nd overall in the country. A&M has struggled with the run. And the example, when you watch, if you want to go back and watch A&M, what I did was I always go back and I watch the team that beat them. And it's not like it was it's not like Notre Dame just did whatever they wanted. That game was lost by, they lost the game by 10 points. I don't know what to make of Notre Dame. That's a weird one, isn't it? They already have a loss. It's a head scratcher, but that's kind of typical Notre Dame. But Weigman in that game goes 12 of 30, 100 yards and 2 picks. Leonard for Notre Dame goes 18 of 30 for 158 yards. However, Riley Leonard, quarterback, who just threw for 158 yards, like I said, with a QBR in that game of 70.6, ran the ball 12 times for 63 yards. Had multiple double-digit runs, his longest being 11 yards. I think he had another run for 10, or it might have been another run for 11. But they gave up some yardage in this game to Notre Dame. 34 carries for almost 200 yards. Guys, that's almost 6 yards a carry. 2 touchdowns. And Notre Dame has done this. Like they're giving up yards on the ground a little bit here, and it's why their numbers are what they are. Now, Florida's kind of the head scratcher here. I thought Florida would have more success. They only ran for 2 yards a carry, but Florida is in all kinds of they're just a mess. Bowling Green had a little bit of success, but they had I think they struggled with, they had a couple pretty big sacks, lost for almost 20 yards, so that had an impact on their yards per carry. Otherwise, they would have averaged like a little more than 3.5 yards per carry, if not for the sacks. But yeah, there's been a couple times this year where their run game or their run defense struggled. McNeese, the Cowboys, and now I think they may have gotten a couple of these runs late in the game. They lost this game 52-10 to A&M, but they averaged almost 5 yards a carry. Trevante Citizen ran the ball for 59 yards on 14 carries for 4.2 yards a carry. Bryce Strong, and I seem to remember seeing one of his highlights, but he had 6 carries for 64 yards. He had a 47-yarder, and that was the other thing that stood out. They're giving up at least 1 to 2 big plays a game, 20, 25, really 25-plus yards. I think you would kind of consider a big play, and they're giving up 40 yards. Like, I think they average giving up at least one 40-yard play, whether it be a pass or a run, every game. And to be fair, this early on in the year, that's not unheard of, but that's not exactly indicative of a really good defense. You heard Stephen Hamner talk about Arkansas earlier today and how they haven't given up too many big plays through the air other than the one. I feel like I'm missing one other big throw against Oklahoma State, but I don't know. But A&M, first off, I don't know if they should be ranked or not. They don't have, like, their quality win is beating Florida down in the swamp. And they won that game by 33-20. They won that game by 13 points. Florida's bad. Florida is not a good football team. Please lay off Courtney in Discord, please. She knows this. She doesn't need us to remind her of that. But they're really bad. And Florida, I mean, this was, it was 10-0 at halftime, and then Florida was able to score 20 points, in the second half. They got all their 20 points in the second half. 14 of those came in the third quarter. So A&M has some issues of their own. I do agree that their defensive line is pretty good. They've got some skill on that defensive line. They've got some playmakers. But the problem is they're still giving up a lot of yards on the ground. I mean, they're giving up over 130, around 130 yards a game. And that's to really no big threat outside of maybe Notre Dame. And I guess we just don't know enough about Notre Dame, despite the fact that they, I don't know, man. You just never know about Notre Dame. They lost to Northern Illinois 16-14. But then they bounced back and they beat the hell out of Purdue and they beat Miami of Ohio. Big game. That's another one. They got to play Louisville this weekend. That might be I think I would take Louisville. But they got to play that thing at Notre Dame. So who knows? So A&M is another one of these games that's pretty difficult to pick. I mean, it really is. It's one of those games that's you're changing your mind every single day, just like Auburn. And at the end, I picked Auburn to win that game because I thought it would be close. Final takeaway. Yet again, another really difficult game to predict. You guys know how I feel with Arkansas in these games down in Jury's world. Against the Aggies, they haven't exactly had a whole lot of success, although Petrino, well, he's undefeated in that thing, right? I think he's undefeated. He's like 4-0 inside that building when Arkansas and A&M play. But, yeah, you know how I feel about playing the Aggies down there. Thank God this is the last one. And then if it really is a final possession type of game, which this one could be, God only knows when these two programs meet up what can happen. A&M is kind of all over the place. I'm not sure, outside of running the ball, that they really do anything else great consistently on either side of the ball. Secondary's got some skill guys. They got some players there. On either side of the ball, and yeah, you could say the exact same thing with Arkansas lately. Texas A&M has given up at least one 40-plus yard play in every single game. Hell, Bowling Green's wide receiver Harold Fannin had 8 grabs for 145 yards with a 65-yard bomb. Arkansas, as we all know, is more than capable of explosive plays. If you allow them to find any sort of rhythm on offense, you could be in for a long, at least for a half, right? Let's see if Arkansas can play a whole game. And yeah, Arkansas secondary is still a red flag. If they give up big plays, typically it's a big pass. Getting Braxton and Clark back would be big. However, there's a number of things here that we have to consider. What is going on at quarterback for A&M? Who's healthy in Arkansas secondary? Can they, for the love of God, give Green some time? And I know that was something that Pitman talked about quite a bit He mentioned it 2 or 3 times last time he talked to the media. Well, the local media. They've got to get that patched up and fixed. And the thing is, and we've also mentioned this before, Bobby's offense is you play your – it seemed like back in the day when he was here his first time, you didn't play your best until midway through the year. Once you got into the end of the year. Yeah, you still struggled with LSU, but he also beat LSU, right? He won some games that maybe they shouldn't have won late in the season. And you're coming up on the halfway point in the year. We'll see how much better, how much more have they really if they're going to open up the playbook. And I keep getting told, I keep reading that in various places. Like, I don't know if they've completely opened up the playbook. Wait, after playing Oklahoma State, a ranked team on the road, and Auburn, a conference opponent, they haven't opened up their playbook. I have a hard time buying into that. Again, if I would like to see them trim the fat in this playbook, and I don't want to say the word shrink, but bring it down to Green's strengths. Play to the guy's strengths. I'm not saying run the ball 60 times against A&M. I'm not saying that's all you should do is run the ball. Yeah, you need to be balanced. You need a balanced attack. But like we talked about on Monday, I don't really trust him at 30-plus passes a game. I think that needs to come down until you can provide a little bit more confidence, right, until Green can actually start to deliver and get more comfortable. Again, when he finds a rhythm, when this offense is all on the same page, receivers catching balls, and you're not having to only target Armstrong, but now you're able to target the tight ends. You get them more involved. They're out there. They're running routes. They're just not getting targeted. When you start seeing Centennial on a cross or a fade, when you're able to open the whole thing up, you have more confidence in the rest of your receiving core. Maybe that means Broden should, I don't know, earn his way back out as a starter. But the only can do that is, the only way to do that is if you catch balls in live games. I don't have a lot of confidence in Broden being able to catch the ball, but I've seen it in practice, man. He looked great, but, we've yet to see it actually happen yet. He's been targeted a lot. I think he's the second most targeted receiver that Arkansas has, and he's not catching balls. But these guys got to get on the same page. Offensive line as well. The pre-snap stuff, you got to have it up here if you're Taylon Green. Sliding your protection and whatnot. I don't know if they play a complete game, and I said this earlier. I feel like they're going to run the ball more. A&M looks sus against the run. I mean, they look sus, and that is absolutely your strength. I think they're going to run the ball, and I don't know if they're going to average 6 yards a carry, but I do think they're going to try to run the ball and then open up the offense a little bit. Hopefully we see the tight ends get involved. I feel like this is a game where a tight end could actually blow up. I feel like this is that kind of matchup. But they do have some athletes on both sides of the ball. A&M, I think Elko's a quality coach. They have the talent advantage. More or less, they have the home field advantage one way or another. This is more of an away game for Arkansas than it is for A&M. They're going to have more fans there. They're going to have, I don't know, probably 60% of the crowd's going to be there for the Aggies. That's always something I think has worked against Arkansas as well. We don't talk about that enough. Gee, I wonder why Arkansas is losing games. Oh, I don't know, down in Jury's world. Maybe because that's A&M country. You're playing in Texas, for crying out loud. Of course they're going to have more fans there, right? That is an away game. You can't even bring recruits. What are we doing? I like Arkansas. Go Hogs. I'm picking the Razorbacks. I just feel like A&M's they're going to have their hands full with Taylon Green. They're going to have their hands full with this running game. If they stay healthy, knock on wood. If they play, I just feel like the goal is to clean up some of the mistakes. You saw them play not so clean football last week. Maybe they get it straightened out this week. And even if they don't get it completely straightened out, that's what's crazy. They could still win this game, and it's because of the freak show that is Taylon Green. This guy is a freak, man. He just makes everything work while also being part of the problem. What do we call that? Double-edged sword. That's what he is. He can help you and he can hinder you. But his help can go a long ways. And again, you look at what he's done on third down, what he's been able to do with his feet, what he's been able to do getting Arkansas back in these games. It's because of him, and obviously Jaquindon Jackson's played a major role in that as well. I really hope we see more Braylon Russell. I think they will. I think these guys are all going to be I think it's going to be – I really think they're going to run the hell out of the ball. I really think that's their game plan. The run blocking has been pretty solid this year. It's definitely, as a whole, the offensive line has been better than last year by a country mile. By a country mile, son. Yeah, give me the Hogs. I think that they're ready for this. A&M's ranked. They're favored. Everybody and their cat on ESPN or on Game Day and all these, they're all going to pick A&M to win this game. And I feel like, Sam, they're going to take this more seriously than A&M is in terms of that being the last game down there. I think Arkansas, they're tired of all these losses piling up, and they want to take care of that. There have been so many games. I'd say so many. There's been a couple of games where you felt like Arkansas was the better team and should have won. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I feel like Arkansas is the better team. If you can remove about half your mistakes on the year, you're undefeated. Well, hell, just 1 or 2 against Oklahoma State. You're undefeated. You're 4-0, and you're probably ranked. This should have been a ranked game. I don't know where Arkansas would be, maybe 24th or A&M would be 24th and Arkansas 25th, but it would be 2 ranked opponents. What a way to go out for the last game down there, huh? Couldn't happen, but that's all right. It's just numbers. Who cares? Bobby Petrino knows how to beat A&M, and there you go. That was going to be kind of my final thing is you've got that. Maybe that's what you've been missing all these years is having Petrino on your sidelines. You got him on your sidelines. You've got him in the ear of his quarterback, and you've got that iPad. I wanted to talk about Steven today about that, but the iPad has been huge. It's been huge. And I think it's played a pretty big part for a lot of teams playing better on offense. But Bobby Petrino with that iPad. But we listen, it's not like the offense has been lighting the world on fire the last couple of games. You need to bring that back. You need to bring that back down there. Stay healthy. Get out of this thing healthy. And find a way to get a dub because, again, it doesn't get easier after A&M. You've got you get the Vols after Texas A&M. So, yeah, this could set up a big game between Arkansas and A&M, or between Arkansas and Tennessee. If you find a way to win this one, it could set up a big game in Fayetteville between the Vols and Arkansas. That's going to be win or lose against A&M. That's still going to be a big deal. Tennessee looks pretty damn good, y'all. I think Colin Cowherd picked them to win the whole thing. I mean, whatever, but yeah. So we'll be streaming it. We'll be streaming along. We'll be watching the game with you guys. Obviously, we can't stream the game, but I'm looking forward to that on Saturday. So make sure you're here on Tusk Talk with Ty on Saturday as we react to the game and live. Me and Travis Ford and Tim Neal. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's looking forward to that. All right, let's take a look at this poll. You guys have not changed. Hogs or Aggies? 90% of you say the Hogs. There you go, man. I'm going to end the poll there. Robert Schumacher says I've diffused last couple days, time to ramp it back up. Go Hogs. Yeah, I think Robert Schumacher might have hit the sauce. You all right, Robert? You okay? You doing good, man? What's your profile picture? It looks like a Tool. Looks like the band Tool as your profile picture. I wish I could blow that up and see it. JV's Hangout says A&M is very beatable. Oh, my gosh. Get off my screen, stupid thing. A&M is very beatable, but we've lost to them plenty of times when we should have won. Something always comes up. And you talk about what KJ did, stretching out, and what happened there. And you've got someone who's a little turnover prone in Green. Yeah, you're not wrong. JV's Hangout. KJ's Superman leap at the goal line, etc. Yeah, there's been some crazy things. Brandon Smith, what up, Ty? I made another live stream. Hey, I appreciate that. Make sure you share the content. No sauce. I couldn't read your comment. I've diffused last couple days, time to ramp it back up. Go Hogs. You've diffused? What does that mean? Oh, man. Hoyt says facts. Taiwan Porter, if we go up 2 scores, this game equals blowout. You got to close. You got to play 2 solid halves. You can't, you can't do this one good half, the other half not so great. You can't do that. You got to come out and play 4 quarters to beat A&M, or at least 3.5 quarters. I don't know. Mr. T-Dub, I'd love to pick the Hogs, but until they could start winning these lopsided games, A&M and Mizzou, I just can't pick them, praying they pull it off, though. I think they will, Tim. I do. Maybe I'm wrong, but, you just play your brand of football. Limit the mistakes. Don't let the crowd affect you. And listen, they haven't. I don't think they have. I think they've handled the away crowds pretty well. And the good thing is this isn't going to be 100% an away game. I think we'll beat ourselves again in a heartbreaker, says Warfare Jordan. Could be. I would say my confidence level is not super high in picking Arkansas, but it's enough that I feel like, am I going to be tossing and turning Friday night, like thinking about the game? Probably a little bit, yeah. I mean, I'm not super duper confident in the pick, but I do think they find a way. My anticipation is diffused because we've had a break now. My nerves come back on. Okay. It means he's come down from the stress of the last game. Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. I got it. I've diffused. Guess I've just never heard it in a sentence like that before. But I see what you're saying. Something always seems to happen, says Hoyt Allen. Yeah, no, for real. And several times you felt like Arkansas was the better team, for sure. All right. If you guys are watching this after the fact, if you're not here live, that's okay. Just make sure you hit the notification bell. Make sure you've subscribed. We got a number of people who only watch these on their Safari, where all you got to do is open the app. You don't even have to have you don't even have to open the app. You can watch it just through Safari or whatever. Feel free to create an account. Come on over, join YouTube. Come be a part of it all. Come comment, like, and share, and be a part of the community. It's an awesome community. Tusk Talk with Ty is. May not be as big as it once was. Thanks for that, YouTube. But, we still have a blast. Y'all need to go check out this morning's Stephen Hammer show. Awesome stuff. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, T-Dub. I thought it was good, too. He killed it. He always does. He killed it. So, again, we're going to try and get Courtney Mims back on. When we got some recruiting stuff, I want to bring Mason Choate back on. All right, don't forget, check out the links provided for you down below. Direct service overhead, the Garage Door Company, same-day services, quality parts, better than best results. They are the best, top-rated local garage door repair company. 501-244-3667. That's their number. They operate out of Central and Northwest Arkansas. Direct service overhead. Let them take care of you and all your garage door needs. Insurance Max, business, personal life, and health insurance, retirement. They shop the best rates for you. Click the link down below. See if they can maybe save you some money or get you better coverage. Laugh out loud, my lingo. My bad. No. Listen, reading these comments on my end is always a struggle. It's not you. It's probably me. Thanks, bro. You rock. You rock. You rock. Thank you. Hoyt says, love my Hogs all the way down in South Texas. Jerron Green says, offensive line problems can be fixed, which is exciting. I love that you're excited about something there, Jerron Green. Got a lot of people that are down in the dumps. We need to be excited about something, right? It seems like they don't know who to block on the blitz sometimes, but at least they're not getting pushed around. Yeah, this chair is so squeaky. Sometimes, and this is something, again, I wish I could have asked Steven this morning. Not all sacks are on the offensive line. Again, sometimes the quarterback's got to know, what's happening pre-snap with the front six, right? Or front seven, depending on what the defense is doing. You got to identify the mic. You got to know where the pressure's coming from and then slide your protection. And maybe some of that's on Green. but you're not wrong. And I agree with you. It's the blocking, it's better. They're not getting pushed around up front, but there's still times when it's like, yeah, that was a little too easy. Josh Braun, and I don't mean to call guys out, but I'm just going to have to. I think there have been times him and Blackstock have just looked, man, got some work to do there. You expect better, right? You expect a little bit better performance out of those guys. Appreciate all the shares on Twitter, by the way. You guys are awesome. Can't wait for the postgame show. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's the best postgame show, period. No matter where. This is it, baby. This is the best postgame show. And I'll be joined with Travis Ford and Tim Neal. Looking forward to that. The Don't Read the Comment podcast fellas. Like we said last week, we'll know more after this game. This is once again, and we've done this now a couple of times, but now you're in the thick of it. This is an SEC opponent. This is a team with a top 10 roster in terms of talent, top 10, top 12. This is the most talented team you faced. New coaching staff. If he has them ready, this could be an absolute fight. Now, if it does come down to a 7-point or fewer scenario, I'm going to be really nervous. You can watch it all happen live right here on Saturday. You can watch it live. You can watch our reactions to this thing. But you're not wrong, Hoyt. You're exactly right. I appreciate all the comments. You guys are awesome. The super chats tonight. We had a couple. The sharing of the content and everything. I appreciate you guys. We're gonna stop here. We'll be back on Saturday again for the game companion. So while the game's on, you'll have the game on the TV and you'll sync up with us. We'll tell you where we're at on what we're watching, and we'll be synced up and we can watch the game together and we can all react to it. It's always fun. Be nice if they win it. Be even better. Be even more fun. But yeah, and we'll do the post game there as well. So I don't know if we're gonna do anything for halftime yet. I'm not really sure. We'll have to wait and see. We might do something, but all right. Well, that's gonna do it. You guys enjoy your Friday. For some of you, I know, the weekend's here, baby. Again, plenty of good games, plenty of good college games, some pro games on Sunday. So yeah. I will see you guys on Saturday. Stay out of trouble, and we'll watch that game together. All right? Okay. I'll see you on Saturday. Oh, yeah, join Patreon if you haven't already. Goes a long ways towards helping out the channel. Small independent channel. Goes a long ways. It helps out a lot. Okay, I'll see you guys on Saturday. Boom!